When it comes to the world of indie games, especially those made by students, you're almost guaranteed a rough time. Such titles are usually plagued with issues from poor design and graphics, to awful sounds, to failed attempts at new mechanics. Luckily, Nitronic Rush is a hidden gem that stands apart from other indie games, being not only innovative, but also addicting fun. Made by a group of students from the DigiPen Institute of Technology, this retro-styled racer is a classic must-play title, and here's why. Conceptually, Nitronic Rush is fresh and innovative. The creators of the game call it an experimental survival driving game, and it takes the racing genre in an interesting new direction. You'll race through a Tron-like computer world playing as an antivirus, and you'll have to dodge and weave through levels in order to avoid the obstacles set before you by the virus. The admittedly short campaign paces itself nicely, ramping up the difficulty while still giving you a chance to admire the world and get to grip with the controls. The concept of this computer world let the designers throw reality out the window, which allowed them to implement some cool features, like the ability to boost and jump your car, and to suddenly deploy wings and fly. Graphically, the game is beautiful, especially considering the students wrote the graphics and game engine entirely from scratch in C++. Taking clear inspirations from Tron, those familiar with Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon should feel right at home. The computer universe in which you'll be racing is defined by black skyscrapers and roads accented with glowing circuit tracings. These large cityscapes make the world feel rich and alive, and the attention to detail is surprisingly good, with even trains of code racing overhead from time to time. The particle effects in the games are particularly well done, sending sparks flying as you scrape your car along the terrain to make the tighter turns, and all the car models look wonderful. The only fault with the graphics is a lack of options, with the menu only providing settings for resolution, full screen, and VSync in terms of visuals. It's disappointing not to see more options, but understandable from a student game. Sound design is somewhere Nitronic Rush excels. The soundtrack for the game is an absolute pleasure to listen to. A mix of electronica and dubstep, the music is fast-paced and epic, enhancing the racing experience as you dodge obstacles and whip around bends. The sound effects of the cars and world are all designed to augment the music too, of note being the sound of the car overheating, which always seems to amplify the beat of the tracks. The announcer of the game is also well done, adding to the game's great sense of humor and style. The game is definitely fun. The controls are smooth and well laid out, and there's built-in Xbox controller support for those who prefer the twin sticks for racing. The UI is clean, not intruding too much into the screen while also fitting the theme of the game. All the tracks are detailed and complex, often providing multiple layers of roads and hidden routes to let the player decide how to explore the level to get the best time, avoid obstacles, or pull off stunts. The game also has a great sense of humor, with default scoreboard names at the end of each level featuring Tron, Clue, SSH, and FTP, and more for the nerds out there. There are also achievements and unlockable cars for the included arcade mode, one of which being the iconic DeLorean from Back to the Future, time machine upgrades and all. The only downside of the game is the short campaign, which can be completed in 10 to 20 minutes depending on the experience of the player and how long you spend exploring each level. The longevity and replay value of the game is increased by the achievements and the challenge and stunt levels included in the arcade mode, but it would have been nice to see a longer story mode. Nitronic Rush is a rare gem among indie games. It's fast-paced, brilliantly fun, pretty, well thought out, and addicting. It's an instant classic, which everyone who's ever been a fan of racing games, Tron, or has ever referred to themselves as a nerd should immediately go try out. It's absolutely free, and has already inspired the team behind it to create their own game outside of DigiPen's control called Distance, as a spiritual successor to Nitronic Rush.